All right, everybody. Good evening. We're ready to call to order our joint meeting of the City Council, successor agency to the Redevelopment Agency, Public Finance Authority, Public Utility Authority, Housing Authority, Paris Joint Powers Authority, and the Paris Community Economic Development Corporation of the City of Paris. It's Tuesday, October 14th, 2025 at 6:35 p.m. Madam Clerk, give a roll call, please.
Councilmember Nava,
Present.
Councilmember Corona,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Raab,
Present.
Councilmember Vallejo,
Here.
Mayor Vargas.
Present, thank you. Item 3 is our invocation, which will be led by Pastor Torrey Deaver from the Carpenters Church. Come on up, Pastor, and if you all please stand and join us. And then remain standing for item 4, which is our Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Councilwoman Nava.
To Honorable Mayor Vargas, thank you for this opportunity, and to the esteemed council, let us pray. Father, we come before you right now just thanking you that we might have an audience with you, and we invoke your presence here today in this meeting. With your presence, we ask that you would send your wisdom to help, Lord, with the planning, the prosperity of the citizens and the businesses here in the city of Paris. We ask, Lord, that you would send your peace, that even as conflicting ideas and agendas, Lord, are coming together, that there will be a platform where they can communicate and collaborate in peace in the place of unity. We ask that your blessing will be upon this staff as they take us into the future. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Please join me in saluting our nation's flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dodgers. Thank you, Pastor. All right, item 5 is our report on closed session items. Attorney Soltani.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council met in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1 in 3 cases. No reportable action was taken. The council met pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 to conduct real property negotiations. No reportable action was taken. The council met pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D4 to seek direction as to whether to initiate litigation in one case, and Council 5-0 authorized the initiation of litigation. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Item 6, presentations and announcements. 6A is City of Paris Employee of the Quarter recognition for the third quarter of 2025. This will be given by our Director of Administrative Services, Saida Moscar.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council. This item will be presented by Mr. Emmanuel Marquez, Public Health Supervisor. Thank you.
Thank you, Saida. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, city staff. It's with great pleasure that I introduce Will Tercellino as the Employee of the Quarter. Will Tercellino began his career with the city in 2018 as a part-time program aide, assisting with the aquatics program, as well as supporting the senior center with its daily operations. During COVID, Mr. Tercellino began supporting efforts in our public health division through multiple grants and programs, one being the Great Plates program. The Great Plates program focused on distributing hot meals to residents most in need Monday through Sunday during the COVID pandemic, and Mr. Tercellino delivered over 1,172 hot meals to our senior population during the entirety of that program. His commitment, leadership, and dedication to the program further piqued his interest in our public health division, leading to a full transition to the Public Services Department, where he largely contributed to the development of the Public Art Initiative, the Community Engagement Program, the Child Care Program during COVID, and the Utility Box Art Program in downtown Paris. Mr. Tercellino continues to coordinate aspects of our annual health fair, the CalFresh Healthy Living Grant, the Mayor's Alliance to End Childhood Hunger, specifically the summer's giveaway of roughly 700 backpacks, and most notably our Junior Master Gardener program. To date, Mr. Tercellino successfully secured and administered over $500,000 in grant funding for our community. Will Tercellino holds a bachelor's degree in kinesiology from Cal State San Bernardino and hopes to enroll into a master's program this coming year. Mr. Tercellino is passionate about promoting healthy lifestyles in the Paris community and he absolutely loves engaging with the community. While he's not at work, Mr. Churcilino enjoys the outdoors, such as hiking, 3D printing, exercising, and spending time with his family. Mr. Churcilino is a proud resident employee of the City of Paris. And with that, I'd like to invite Will Churcilino for a few words, followed by the council for a photo op. Thank you.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, and City staff. I am honored to receive Employee of the Quarter, and I would like to thank all the city staff and everyone who supported me throughout the year. I would like to say a big thank you to my team in public service. They work so hard, and I have learned so much from each and every one of them. And then the city, the opportunity it has given me is something truly inexpressible. And then lastly, being able to serve a community that I grew up in, and I always have called this place home, the City of Paris home, my whole entire life, is something that I'm deeply passionate about. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you again.
All right, so we'll be getting this nice certificate on this plaque, which describes William Torcellino, the honor of Employee of the Third Quarter. May be known at the Employee Recognition Committee. Hereby acknowledge William for his dedication and unwavering commitment to the City of Paris. Your efforts are commendable and greatly appreciated. Presented this 14th day of October, 2025. Family. All right, well, in addition to your certificate, you're also going to get a gift card for Amazon for $150. It's just in time for the mayor's birthday, November 5th. And then I'm also going to give you a key to the city. If I can figure what I did with it. You get to come up and talk to the podium, right? Okay. Now they didn't time, you get 10 minutes.
Yeah, I can say it again. I'll say it. Yeah. Good? Okay.
Councilwoman Vallejo?
Yes. Well, this is such a big deal, and this is long overdue. A few years ago, I worked here, and I had the pleasure of working with him, and he is the most nicest man, nicest coworker. If I ever needed help with anything, he would gladly help. Like the most genuine person here, so I really appreciate you. I'm very excited for you because you are a very hard worker and you're such a team player. So I know from firsthand that this is a long overdue award, and we are very lucky to have you. So please don't go anywhere, unless if you want to, but I prefer you to stay. Thank you. Congratulations.
Mayor Pro Tem Reb.
Yes, I'd like to congratulate Will on your award. I know you are a lifeline to many seniors in our community during the pandemic, helping deliver fresh meals, and many of them had glowing things to say about you. And you've continued to be an asset to the city over the last 7 years, and we hope to have you here for another 7 and another 7 on that. Once again, congratulations, and congratulations to your family as well.
Councilwoman Nava.
Congratulations, Will. Every time I see you engaging with community, you're very kind, respectful, and warm, and I feel that you are a great representation of what we need here in the city of Paris to be a public servant and help our community. So this is a very well-deserved award, and I congratulate you and thank you for your family for allowing us to be able to share your talents here in the city. Thank you so much.
And Councilman Corona.
Thank you, Mayor. The first thing I want to do is tell the parents a big congratulations to you for contributing and raising a great, awesome person. Every time I meet Will, he's always positive. I don't know if he's having a bad day or not, but he's always positive person, and really enjoyable to see him work and interact with the residents as well. I'm sure it's a hard job, but he definitely makes it look easy, because he just goes out go out in the community and just with a smile and they're there to work hard and help people. But thank you a lot, Will, and congratulations.
Well, they pretty much summed it all up, Will. Every time I go to any kind of event, though, that you're there working out, you're just like right now, you're standing there with that great smile. So we appreciate your service, what you do for our community. And yes, it's been well-deserved, probably long-deserved, but it doesn't matter, you're here now. So let me know when you want to go to Amazon. I'm right with you. All right, and parents, thank you for coming and supporting your son as well. He's a good. You guys obviously raised a good son. And who's the young lady next to you, sir? Okay, very good. Nice. Thanks for being here too. All right, moving on to item 7, our Youth Advisory Committee communications. This report will be given by Shayna. I always have a hard time. Shayna de las Alas. This is a Dr. Seuss book. She is our Vice President of our Youth Advisory Committee.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, and city staff. My name is Shayna de las Alas, and I'm honored to serve as the 2025 to 2026 Vice President of the Youth Advisory Committee, or YAC. I'd like to take a moment to share a few exciting updates on behalf of YAC. First, this past Saturday, YAC had the opportunity to volunteer at the Southern California Special Olympics, where members assisted with the skills evaluation and helped facilitate adaptive games for participants. YAC looks forward to continuing our partnership with SoCal Special Olympics and supporting future events. Next, we're thrilled to bring back the Scare Maze for the annual Harvest Festival this Friday, October 17. YAC members will be assisting staff and running the maze to bring some spooky fun to our community. We're also excited to host our annual Trunk or Treat on Friday, October 24, from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Statler Youth Center parking lot. These events offer a fun, safe, and family-friendly way to celebrate Halloween. Following that, on Saturday, October 25, YAC will host our monthly parks cleanup at Enchanted Hills Park. Check-in begins at 7:30 a.m. and the cleanup will start promptly at 8 a.m. Community service hours will be available for students, and we invite everyone to join us in keeping our parks clean and beautiful. Our next YAC meeting will take place on Tuesday, October 21, from 5:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. here in the council chambers. We encourage all youth to attend, get involved, and share their ideas. As always, we encourage the community to stay safe, stay engaged, and stay connected. For the latest updates on our programs and events, follow us on social media at Paris YAC. Thank you for your time and continued support. We truly value your partnership in making Paris a vibrant and welcoming place for youth and families. Thank you.
Thank you, Shayna. Okay, item 8 is our public comment. At this time, this is when any member of the public may bring a matter to the attention of the mayor and the city council, items that are not on our agenda. We'll allow for 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
Yes, sir. Kevin Pearson.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Kevin Pearson with Eastern Municipal Water District. I wanted to come here tonight just to give a quick update on our sewer line construction on Highway 74. We're going to be starting actually within the scope of Highway 74 beginning early next week. As part of that, we'll be starting at Cruz Street, which is just a little west of Navajo, and then start working our way east. This will be daytime work. Beginning at 8:30 and ending by 5 p.m. Starting Sunday night of this coming weekend, we're going to be doing some overnight work to do some restriping of those lanes and also placing some K-rails out there, protective barriers to keep the contractor safe. Those barriers will be moved to within the center median during non-working hours for the project. So we want to make sure that when we're not out there, we're keeping the lanes open. It'll probably be about 2 weeks before we start seeing a lane reduction out there, a week or two depending on progress. But at some point soon, there will be a lane reduction during those working hours as well. Mayor Vargas, I know we've talked before about notifying the community. We sent about 6,000 letters out about 2 weeks ago to the community. We'll be doing an e-blast with about 3,000 or 4,000 email addresses later this week, as well as social media posts, and I'll be coordinating with Stephen later this week for some social media efforts that the city can put on its pages as well. So definitely I want to make sure you guys were aware and ladies were aware of that work. Also want to give credit to Brad Brophy and the engineering staff. This has been a fairly complicated traffic control plan, and they've really been fantastic in working with us and our contractor to move this forward in a way that works for everybody as well. At some point, likely later this year, we will start work within the intersection of Navajo. During that time, there will be a detour route in effect. We've worked with the city staff to really come up with a better solution than we had originally, where the detour just loops around Indian Hill Circle there. So it's pretty nominal in terms of the distance. Prior to that, I will be back before the council to let you know as well, to keep you informed. As always, everybody up there should have my contact information, as well as the city staff does as well. So if there's any questions or concerns that you get from the community, please send them our way, and EMWD will be happy to be accountable with any questions from the public as well. So, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Luz Gallegos.
Hello, Honorable Mayor and City Council. Luz Gallegos with representing TODEC and our community membership here in the city of Paris. I want to start and really thanking our city, our mayor, especially our mayor. Over 3 decades ago, we passed a resolution for Paris to be a welcoming community to our immigrant and farm worker community that resides here in the city of Paris. The current immigration climate is not new. This has been constant. Paris is a border region, so we're used to these type of threats that continue to impact the well-being of our community. But as a community, we came together over 3 decades ago and passed this resolution that we're very proud that we see our city continue to step up as we did back then, and continues to be. Going back to July 9th, when we had a situation here in the city of Paris, right away we activated our protocols and came together as a community with the support of all of you, and our mayor was very bold and really went out there and put himself to protect our residents. So from the bottom of our heart, thank you, Mayor, and thank you to our entire city council to continue to step up, and we will continue to working together. But then again, this resolution continues to stay strong and active in our community. But right now, at this time, we're here to talk in support of Just Cause. We started this conversation early 2024 with Councilmember Nava and Councilmember Rita Rogers having town halls at our office, bringing together hundreds of city residents that spoke up on the injustices that we see within housing. The impact of the well-being of our community and them to stay in house, seeing so many community members being impacted by evictions, Skypes and rent. As our community is suffering, we see the suffering of our community more than ever. And we're doing public comment this early on because we have a lot of our youth that are here representing their parents and community members, as many of our community members is scared to even be on camera. But we mobilized thousands of petitions in support of Just Cause from our residents, and some of our young leaders are gonna be presenting these today. So I know I'm reading In God We Trust, in the city of Paris we trust, that you all are gonna do the right thing and support Just Cause, so we continue to bring justice and dignity to our residents in the city of Paris. Thank you and God bless you, and we're so proud of our city and all our city staff. God bless you.
All right, hold on, Luz. So we have a high number of unusual speakers during this time. Are you saying they're going to come up and speak about Just Cause?
Yes, because they are young and we have to get them back home to their parents, and
Oh,
they have
that's-
school tomorrow, if that's okay.
That's out of the ordinary, but I'm going to, council, if you all have no problems, we'll hear these.
So are we opening up the item?
Well, we can probably push it. Let me, is there anybody here for this item, a public comment that has nothing to do with Just Cause? It's any, I mean, no item on our agenda. This is for regular public comment. Do you have something, sir, that's not on our agenda? Okay. Luz, let me finish this, and then we're going to bring up that item next so we can allow these youngsters to go home.
Thank you, Mayor.
What? All right, Alex, I believe, right?
Yes, item 8 at the moment, because this is something that is under the purview of the council, but isn't explicitly, yeah.
Go ahead.
Did I wait for anything or any timer, or no? I'll go ahead. Okay, I'll try and keep it brief. Hopefully this will connect enough to what I'm inadvertently kind of getting us to go ahead with here afterwards, which would be 12B, public comment. But at the moment, this is a little bit more about something that certainly is within the council's purview. It was dealt with on September the 30th. So during that meeting, what was presented for development on Ramon Expressway between Paris Boulevard and Redlands Avenue, item 11A specifically, was a lot better than the original proposal. Of course, it was a little bit more respectful and fitting of the Paris, specific commerce plan that was developed for the area. Also, it helps contribute to the population of that particular area, within northern Paris, an area that's overwhelmingly been mostly warehouse developments up until that point. These are all good things. It doesn't contribute much to the, pollution, noise pollution or otherwise for the people already living next door in that trailer park, especially people who've been living there for many years, families who live right where this would be happening. So there's only a couple of main points to be made, in spite of the fact that this is a significant improvement. The first one was we did have members of the council who promised, and I believe in good faith, that what we would have would be, this understanding that unless the current ownership of the park and the developer, in proper cooperation, went ahead and let the over 250, households in Camper Resorts of America know about when this would kind of be revived, because it has been a significant while, that was kind of a prerequisite to finalizing anything like that. So as much as it's better, I think that by ensuring public input like was more or less promised, we would have certain things still a little bit improved, like for example, the understanding that just as these 200 plus apartments will be, very reliant on DAWs, so is the community already there next to the place that will be developed. So for example, some reassurance of some access to there, some kind of corridor, mainly for pedestrians who already live there, whatever security or other accommodations we feel need to be made, that's something that probably should have been discussed since it's a significant thing. So I hope that when it comes to 12B in just a bit, that we will consider not just the rights of the 200 plus people who will be apartment renters, 200 plus households that will be apartment renters when they move into this new development when it's done, but also the people already living right next to there who also don't want to be uprooted.
Thank you. Who?
Parissa Jibuli.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Parissa Jibeli. I am speaking on behalf of the Paris Valley Chamber of Commerce. I will be speaking about the events that are coming up this month. So first, on tomorrow, which is Wednesday, October 15th, our Business After 5 mixer, hosted by Chick-fil-A at 1688 North Paris Boulevard, Suite K, will be closing our Hispanic Heritage Month with live mariachi Luceros de Mexico. Networking runs 5:30 to 6:30. However, the program and raffles are from 6:30 to 7 p.m. It's a perfect opportunity for local businesses, nonprofits, and residents to connect and celebrate community culture. Our next event is Thursday, October 23rd, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It will be our monthly Lunch with Friends, and it will be our Member Appreciation Barbecue at 137 North Paris Boulevard, hosted in partnership with the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Anyone who starts or renews a chamber membership at this event will save $50. Come for lunch, meet our partners, and support Paris's business community. And lastly, on Friday, October 24th, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., the City of Paris Youth Advisory Committee's Trunk or Treat is at the Statler Youth Center parking lot. It's open to all ages, comes dressed in costume for free candy. There will be music, vendors, and lots of family fun. No mask, please, just for safety purposes. On behalf of our president, Jerry Sepulveda, and our board of directors, we invite everyone to join us at these 3 upcoming events and be part of the excitement happening here right in Paris. All right, that's everything.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
That is all.
All right, just to make sure no one else is here for a general comment. All right, thank you. All right, so council, you guys are good with moving up the just cause ordinance?
Yes, I would just ask that the people speaking, we can seat them in the reserve area so we can go one after the other.
Well, they're all right there, all these young kids already, so. All right, 12A is our business item. This is consideration to receive and file a report and provide direction to staff regarding a just cause ordinance pursuant to AB, which is Assembly Bill 1482. This will be introduced by our Director of Economic Development and Workforce, Michelle Ogawa.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. As you stated, we're here to discuss a local just cause ordinance pursuant to AB 1482. And for a little bit of background on this item, it came before the City Council on November 14, 2023. City Council discussed that evening and directed the item to go before the Ways and Means Committee meeting, and the Ways and Means Committee has been discussing since with staff. They started by selecting 2 comparison cities to show how other cities have altered AB 1482 at the local level with their own local just cause ordinance. And so here you see the selection. These are both general law cities with comparable demographics to the city of Paris. So we'll be going through AB 1482 this evening, and then I'll also go through how these sample cities have altered 1482 at the local level. In discussing a just cause ordinance, these are some additional considerations to think about as you discuss. There are potential costs for startup, ongoing programming, and enforcement, and that would include the standard administrative costs, including personnel, legal fees, office space, and associated overhead. And then also some enforcement and programming for education and awareness if the ordinance is adopted, to inform the local community that these additional protections are in place. And then also there are potential revenue sources that come from a just cause ordinance, including fees charged to landlords and/or tenants, penalties for noncompliance, and also settlement funds if the city is to be successful in a lawsuit. So with that, we'll get into the main information for the evening. So what you see in front of you is a table which summarizes in the left column, it breaks out the ordinance into a few different categories to discuss individually. The left column is the existing state-level legislation under AB 1482 that's since been amended by SB 567. That's currently in effect, and the city is currently bound by those policies. And then you'll see the next column over is the City of Antioch Just Cause Ordinance, and then the City of Baldwin Park Just Cause Ordinance. The last column, I'll run through the information. I'll summarize the information in 1482 and kind of walk you through how the 2 cities have altered it at the local level, and then I'll go back to the top to walk through the Ways and Means Committee recommendations for council discussion. So to start with is the applicability. So this is when the tenant protections apply. It's when all tenants have lawfully occupied a residence for more than 1 year, more than 12 months, or when at least one resident within the home has lawfully occupied the residence for over 24 months. And one quick note on this as a follow-up to the Ways and Means Committee. This was an item to look into and bring back for this discussion. The committee wanted to be deliberate about including mobile homes as a protected units. And upon further research, one of the amendments to 1482 does actually identify mobile homes as protected units. So these all apply in the standard way to mobile homes as well. The only exception is it does not apply if the owner is renting space in a mobile home park, because that's governed by its own state code. And then the City of Antioch made that applicability start upon move-in to all tenants, and Baldwin Park applies to all residential units built before January 1st, but also applies upon move-in. Within the ordinances, there are lists of exemptions that are not bound by the just cause protections, and that includes basically shorter term stays, so hotels, short-term rentals, student housing, nonprofit hospitals, religious facilities, extended care facilities, licensed residential care facilities for the elderly, adult residential facilities, owners roommate inside their own home, and single-family homes, if they are not owned by a real estate investment trust, a corporation, or an LLC, are exempt. Owner-occupied homes, deed-restricted affordable housing, and then there's also a rolling 15-year exemption by build date. So at any point in time, if the home was built in the last 15 years, then you're also exempt. These items were changed in very minor ways. The cities of Antioch and Baldwin Park kept it more or less the same, with the same nature. The kind of temporary residency, intended to be temporary residency, are exempt. This at-fault eviction definition applies, is the category of evictions where the just cause eviction protections do not apply. So this is when the tenant has violated the lease in some way or is conducting criminal activity on the property, subletting in violation of the lease, basically any actual legal breach of the lease, of the actual document. is an at-fault definition, and that's where there are requirements in AB 1482 that I'll get to a little later, but it does not include eviction protections. It's more along the lines of noticing and documentation and giving the tenant a fair period of time to cure any violation. The only one change, only the City of Antioch changed this in a minor way. They added existing under 1482 is criminal activity on the property identified as an at-fault definition. The City of Antioch also added criminal threat to the landlord as a basis for an at-fault eviction. And the City of Baldwin Park mimicked 1482 with their at-fault definition. The no-fault definition, so these are the grounds where the owner is able to evict, but this is the category where the eviction protections would apply. So under the state level legislation, that applies to owner reclamation of the property for move-in of any of these specific immediate parties, relatives or parties. If the owner seeks to remove the property from the rental market by order of a government order, court order, or local ordinance, or if the owner intends to demolish or substantially remodel the unit. The City of Antioch mimics that, and the City of Baldwin Park added to the list of parties that can move in for the owner reclamation of the property. They added in-laws to that. And they also added the 2 bullet points there at the bottom, that they added a no-fault eviction on the basis if the property changes hands within 18 months, or if the tenant is unable to pay a rent increase and notifies the landlord prior to the rent increase being noticed. And then these are the actual tenant protections that go along with the eviction basis. And so much of these relate back to the previous at-fault or no-fault evictions that are specifically listed. And there are just additional details to go along with that. So under the state level legislation for at-fault evictions, these are the requirements. They have to provide written notice, at a minimum 3-day period to pay or quit, and a minimum 7 to 10-day period to cure any violation. For no-fault evictions, if the owner seeks to reclaim the property to move in or to move in a family member, there's also a requirement for that move-in to take place within 90 days of the tenant vacating, as well as a requirement to utilize the unit as the primary residence for a minimum of 12 months. If either of those are violated then by the owner, then the tenant is entitled to reclaim the unit. For no-fault evictions specific to the demolition or substantial renovation, there's also requirements to provide written documentation to the tenant that describes the specific scope of work, so the actual work that's being completed. It's also limited to alterations or work being done on major structures of the home. And they also have to provide required permits, copies of required permits, and an estimate for for the duration of the work. It also applies to the abatement of hazardous materials, and for this to qualify as a no-fault eviction, it also has to be determined that the property must be vacated for the safety of the tenant for at least 30 days. And it also does specifically note that cosmetic improvements that can be done safely with the tenant in the unit does not apply to this eviction basis. Oh, excuse me. So along with those, and there's a few slides of the eviction protections, there's several of them. But for the same eviction protection in the City of Antioch, they slightly changed the at-fault requirement to any eviction written notice is required with, and then they also must file the notice within 5 days of serving it to the tenant. They've mimicked the requirements of the owner reclamation for move-in, with the exception of the term that it has to be used as a primary residence. In Antioch, it's 2 years rather than the current state level at 1 year. And then they also added that if the landlord violates either one of those timelines, then the previous tenant has the first right of refusal on the property. They've also added that if the tenant is 62 years of age, disabled, and has lived in the unit for over a year, that notice period must be at least a year to offer the unit back to the tenant. In the city of Baldwin Park, they have a similar process, but theirs is a 3-day period to pay or vacate, and then they're required to file the notice within 3 days of serving it to the tenant. They more or less mimicked the same, but they changed the timelines for the owner reclamation of the property. They must move in within 30 days of serving the tenant, and then must use the property as a primary residence for 12 months. And they've also added in the city of Baldwin Park, they've also added that if the landlord violates either one of those timelines, then they also owe the tenant moving expenses. This is back to 1482. So the existing state level legislation regarding no fault evictions for relocation, the requirement for relocation assistance is equal to 1 month's rent or waiver of the final month's rent, and rent increases are capped over the course of any 12-month period. They're limited to the lower of 5% plus the percentage change in the cost of living, or 10% of the lowest gross rental rate for that unit at any time in the 12 months prior. Just to go back once the bullet point is on this slide. So for the rent increase cap in the city of Antioch, theirs is the lower of 3% or 60% of the CPI. In the city of Baldwin Park, they limited it to the CPI year. In the city of Antioch, they also add that for the, Okay, they also add that they will not allow an eviction if any tenant inside the unit has lawfully resided at the property for 5 years and meets any one of those demographic or conditions. If they're elderly, disabled, or handicapped, if anyone in the home is terminally ill, or if any tenant has lawfully resided at the property for at least 5 years and any member of the household is low income. They also add their relocation assistance is set at 2 months' rent at the current rent at the time of the eviction. In the city of Baldwin Park, their relocation assistance is set at 2.5 months, the HUD fair market rate. The committee also asked us to look into the reasoning behind that, and we did speak with them, and they indicated that that's more in terms of providing the financial stability, some financial stability to the tenant on the front end in seeking a new unit. The question came up during the Ways and Means Committee meeting about the landlord being required to pay 2.5 months of assistance at a higher rate than they were actually collecting from the tenant, and that's the reasoning. It's the assumed rate or the level where they set it for them to secure a different unit. They also add in the city of Baldwin Park that if any member of the household has been lawfully occupying the residence for 10 years, you add 10% per year up to 200% to that as well. And then, an additional detail is if anyone within the home is qualified, which is on the same basis, if they're disabled or elderly, or if they have dependents under the age of 18, then the relocation assistance also includes moving cost. So now we'll go back to the top of to the applicability section. So now I'll go through, that's everything that the committee has discussed and asked questions over the course of the item being at the committee level. So now we get to the Ways and Means Committee recommendation for discussion among City Council. For the applicability, the recommendation is to mimic 1482. So when all tenants have lawfully occupied a residence for over 12 months, or when at least one tenant has lawfully occupied for over 24 months. Would you like me to stop with each category to discuss or go through the whole?
You guys want to start asking questions in between?
You guys have been able to read all this, right, as you've been going through it?
Yeah.
So I think we just go straight to questions and then public comment.
Yeah, because we're going to have to go through public comment and all that. And
Okay. Okay, so for the exemptions, that was also recommended to mimic 1482. The at-fault definition, there were 2 minor changes to that definition. The criminal activity, they'd like it to be documented. They'd like to discuss providing documentation by police report, and then also adding the criminal threat to the landlord or any other tenant in the unit, and also documented by a police report. Under the no-fault definition, and the changes are there in blue. The no-fault definition discussion included adding parties to the qualified parties to move into the unit, and including great-grandchildren, great-grandparents, and in-laws specific to spouses and partners, parents and siblings. For the tenant protections, also recommended to mimic 1482 with some minor revision, including for at-fault evictions, a requirement to provide multilingual notices, and then the discussion among council for relocation assistance, citing the 3 samples in front of you.
Just to clarify, on relocation assistance, we didn't have a firm position on it. We wanted to have a discussion regarding that.
Yes, and that's.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is that the end of the list?
Yes.
Okay. If you guys have some brief questions or comments, otherwise I'm going to open up the public hearing so we can go through our guests that like to speak. Councilman Corona?
Yeah, so for AB 1482, how long has that been in effect?
2019.
Okay. And then, so in AB 1419, I've never had in a position where I'm a landlord, right? But if I have an agreement with the renter, with the tenant, and the agreement's for 1 year, and they go after 1 year, I'm not allowed to just say, hey, you know what, you served your 1 year, I let you stay here 1 year, you go on your way. I would then have to give them assistance to find another place. Is that the way it is right now?
No, you're talking you're saying if they close out the term in the lease.
Yeah.
No, that would not be an eviction. That would technically be a non-renewal, I believe. So these protections would not apply.
Okay.
If the term is up, then the term is up.
Then terms up.
The eviction applies to if you end the lease prior to the stated expiration of the
before
agreement.
the end of the year. Oh, okay.
The term.
I got you. Okay. Because I saw one where, if they're there for 20 years, then at the end of that next year, they're up. I just write them a letter, say, hey, you're not going to be renewed? Or is that?
Yes, we do also have Matthew Cohen here from the city attorney's office. I believe so.
Okay.
Okay, hold on, guys. I got to open up the public hearing. We're going to be going into this.
that's fine.
Councilman Corona, Mayor Pro Tem, did you have a quick question?
No, I'll withdraw my question.
Okay, let's go ahead and open up the public hearing at 7:23.
Jesus?
How many do we have now?
We have 12.
It's only 12. Jesus, are you here? Call the next one.
Heriberta? Victoria?
Here's Victoria.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Victoria Mata, and I am a part of Torec Monarcas Luchadoras. I am here on behalf of the Just Cause petition to spread awareness about the struggles of my community. For example, there are people who barely have enough to survive and cannot handle a rent increase. This petition will help families continue to live in this community with one less thing to worry about. Yes, on Just Cause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jade?
Hello, good evening. I'm here tonight in solidarity with my community, and as we all know, and we all come from similar pathways or backgrounds, our family are barely making ends meet, and with a blanket protection of the Just Cause petition, we're heading on the right direction, and together we can possibly make positive changes and positive impacts in our community and local cities.
Thank you.
Iker Cruz? Delilah Cruz.
Can somebody hop on the mic? There you go.
Hola, me llamo Iker Cruz y soy parte del grupo TODEC Monarcas Luchadoras. Estoy aquí representando mi comunidad. Quisiera entregar miles de firmas a favor de causa justa. Espero su voto a favor. Gracias.
Okay, can you, hold on. He has a speech, right? Can he leave it on the podium? We're going to have the translator come up and read that back. Mija, are you speaking Spanish or English? What's the young ladies next to you?
Delilah.
Delilah, you speak English or Spanish?
English.
English? Okay, is that your little brother? Yeah. Have him leave his speech on there, so we're going to have someone translate it. It's written down, isn't it?
Want me to read it?
No, just leave it on the dais right there. We'll have someone come translate it. Thank you. Go ahead, Delilah.
My name is Delilah Cruz. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I am here to speak on behalf of my friends who are scared because their family doesn't have a place to live. My friend's family had to move in with their aunt because rent has become too expensive. I'm sad for him because his family of 4 is forced to live in 1 bedroom. All children should be able to live without fear of losing their home. Please help people like my friend and support Just Cause. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Can we have the translator come out, please, and repeat? There's a letter up there or a speech written down.
Here's petitions, and there's still more printing at the office, but we're gonna, who wants?
Leave them at the corner there. Luz, hand the guy so he knows where the speech is at. There you go.
So it says, hello, my name is Iker Cruz. I am part of the group of TODEC Monarcas Luchadoras. I'm here representing my community. I would like to submit thousands of signatures for the Just Cause. I hope that this is voted in favor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. All right, who's next?
Linda Cruz.
And after that,
Kevin Diaz.
Cameron, you want to come on up to the front, please? We have reserved seats up here. You can be ready to go.
Hello, my name is Linda Cruz. I'm here with TODEC as well, Monarcas Luchadoras. Thank you to the council members and mayor for hearing our concerns today. I am here representing my community as well. I would like to express my support for the ordinance Just Cause since it's virtually hard to purchase homes for a lot of our community members. The fact that rent is rising so rapidly is a major concern for everybody. It's making it difficult for our community members to provide safe homes for their children and for their relatives. I have spoken with other parents who have shared that rent in the area is becoming increasingly high. One mother shared that her rent went up $300 in January 2024, and this year it was raised another $400. Considering that she hasn't received any pay increase of any kind and has 3 small children, that additional $700 in the span of about a year and a half is, or no, 2 years, sorry, it's just incredibly hard to even keep up with. And since purchasing a home is even more difficult, she was forced to also move in with relatives. And even that is just temporary since the home can only house so many people. I respectfully ask that you please support the proposed ordinance Just Cause, in turn helping everyday families provide stable housing for the children in our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Kevin Diaz, and then we have Rosa Diaz.
I'm sorry, Cameron. I thought you said Cameron. Kevin Diaz? You here, Kevin? What was the next one?
Rosa Diaz?
Rosa?
Sí.
¿Necesita un translator or no? Mr. Translator, can you come back, please?
Ahorita que venga.
Espérate un momento, señora.
Ahorita que venga el señor.
Mi nombre es Rosa Díaz.
My name is Rosa Diaz.
Venimos de Todec
We come from Todec.
y soy miembro de la comunidad.
I am a member of the community.
Pedimos apoyo para la causa justa de las rentas.
We ask for the support for just cause of these
Rentas.
rent,
Rentas.
sorry.
Ajá. Rentas. Pedimos, en mi caso, se me entregó una orden de desalojo
In my case, I was given an order to vacate,
y nada más me dieron un mes para desocupar.
and I was only given 1 month to vacate.
Y yo tuve que, en Todec me aconsejaron que metiera, demanda para que se me respetaran mis derechos.
And through Todec, I was advised to acquire a lawyer or to submit a lawsuit so that I can have just cause.
Ajá. Y quisiera que hubiera un apoyo para nosotros los renteros,
I would like for there to be some sort of support for us that rent,
donde se nos respete también las rentas y no se nos suba constantemente.
where there is some respect in regards to rent and it doesn't constantly rise or go up.
Y si se nos desaloja, tengamos un tiempo prudente para poder encontrar dónde mudarnos.
And if we have to vacate, for there to be an appropriate time so that we can find a place.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ramon, and then Christian.
Does anybody else need translation? 2 people? Okay, Ramon, let them come up first because he needs to get back inside the booth after he's done here.
No, he's going to translate for Ramon.
Oh, Ramon, you don't speak English?
¿Hablas inglés? ¿Prefieres español? Ok, está bien.
Hola, buenas tardes.
He needs to step up closer to the microphone.
Good afternoon, un poco más cerca.
Mi nombre es Ramón, vengo del grupo Monarca Luchadora.
My name is Ramon. I come from the group Monarca Luchadora.
Yo creo que esta petición es importante
I think this is an important petition
para ayudar a las familias,
to help their families,
para que tengan el tiempo para buscar una vivienda digna.
so that they have enough time to look for a place to live that is appropriate,
Y poder juntar el dinero para buscar la vivienda.
and be able to gather enough money to do that.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christian?
¿Usted español? Could we have him first?
Yes.
For Spanish? Sorry.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Juan Manuel Gutiérrez Martínez.
Good evening. My name is Juan Manuel Gutierrez Martinez.
Estoy aquí con la Unión de Inquilinos de Perris.
I am here with the Union of Inhabitants of Paris
Sobre el asunto crítico que afecta a todos los inquilinos en Perris.
in regards to this critical issue that is affecting all the inhabitants of Paris.
Estamos pidiendo las protecciones de inmediato sin hacer espera de un año.
We're asking for immediate protection without having to have a waiting of 1 year.
Y cubrir todas las unidades de alquiler, incluidas las casas móviles.
And be able to have coverage of all the units for the renters, including the mobile homes.
Garantizar 2 meses de asistencia para la reubicación en caso de desalojo sin culpa.
Guarantee 2.5 months of assistance for the relocation in cases of people that have to be relocated without just cause.
Y que el propietario esté obligado a que la mudanza se realice dentro de los 90 días.
And for the proprietary person to be obligated in moving within the 90 days.
Posteriormente a la salida de inquilinos, que haya un requisito mínimo de 2 años para usar la propiedad.
For the renters to have a minimum requirement of 2 years to use the property.
Como residencia principal en caso de desalojo sin culpa.
As a primary residence if there was a case to be desalojo sin culpa, to be aquí está. To be brought out without just cause.
Cualquier actividad criminal debe de incluir reporte de policía.
Any criminal activity should also include a police report.
Al establecer los parámetros de remodelación sustancial,
In establishing the parameters of remodeling, of the substantial remodeling,
y muchas gracias por su tiempo.
and that's all. Thank you for your time.
Gracias, señor. Is there someone else that needs Spanish translation?
Christian?
I thought there were, what's the lady?
Oh, he's in, okay.
Maribel, wasn't there someone else you pointed out that needed translation? Okay. All right, sir, you can go back. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Christian Romero.
Christian, pick up the microphone closer to you.
A little bit closer, like this?
Yeah.
Pretty good? Hello, my name is Christian. I'm part of Monarcas Luchadoras from Tolek Legal Center. I think this petition is really good because many families are about losing their homes even when they haven't done nothing wrong. Some landlords can only evict for no real reason, and some they have to evict by like not paying the rent or break and release. Some families and seniors can't feel safe, but I think this petition will help, and it will make seniors and family feel more safe and stable. Thanks.
Thank you.
Maribel Núñez and Serafín.
Hi, everyone. I don't know where you see the clock. Okay. Maribel Nunez with the Inland Equity Community Land Trust and the Paris Tenant Union. Thank you so much. I want to thank Michelle, the Ways and Means Committee, the before and after. I know Ms. Councilmember Nava was part of it as well. So thank you so much. We're finally here after more than 2 years. And I wanted to mention that TODEC, my organization, Centro Migrante, we go to Sacramento, and we are very aware of AB 1482, and we're very well aware of SB 567. It was very watered down, what came out of Sacramento, and the reason that we came to Paris City Council is that we can go further than what the state is doing. So I just wanted to reiterate that. And then also, because we are hearing people say about the rent, is that when we think about just cause ordinance, it's not just about protections of evictions, but it's also including rent. And so I'm happy that with the new Ways and Means Committee, that the rent stabilization ordinance could be something to be able to be looked at. And so I just want to reiterate that we want that to be part of the Paris just cause or something. We really appreciate the conversations and meetings that we've been having with all the council members, taking a lot of our recommendations. Thank you so much. Having the staff meet with us, getting our feedback. I wanted to give a shout out to Tenants Together, TODEC, Centro Migrante, a lot of folks here that helped us with all this. And so I did email my public comments, the details of what we would like to see. And I'm very glad to see with the new updated presentation, there was several things that were added on. So thank you so much. I wanted to kind of think through a little bit more, because one of the things that are holding us back for the rent stabilization is that the committee wants to see the budget for Antioch and Baldwin Park. So I was a little bit surprised in the Ways and Means Committee, and I'm glad with the updated version that we are including some of the stuff from Baldwin Park and Antioch because they're general law cities. So let's make sure that we look at that. If we're looking at the budget, let's look at what they're doing as well. There's a lot of good stuff there, and I indicated the applicability, the exceptions, tenants protection, no fault eviction, no fault in the substantial remodeling. Let's look at also Claremont. The permitting, I see that you all have that for substantial remodeling, but let's look at if it's something that needs to be completed over 30 days and it's a safety hazard, right, that it could be included as well. And also in Los Angeles, they went ahead and removed what they call renovictions. Let's look at that because there's a lot of excuses of, oh, we got to paint something, we got to do this, and it's an excuse to get a tenant out so that they could up the rent for the next tenant. So please, let's continue looking at Baldwin Park and Antioch's recommendations. There's a lot of work to be done to help. And then the 2.5 months, let's continue with that relocation assistance. And let's
Thank you.
Serafín? No. Okay. Janet Bernabe?
Okay, well, just waiting for my time. So good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, and community. My name's Janet Bernabe. I'm the Executive Director and DOJ partially accredited representative for El Centro del Migrante. And most importantly, I'm a 30-year resident of the city of Riverside. City of Paris, and also work in the city of Riverside. I made the city of Paris my home for the last 30 years. And I would like to thank the Paris Ways and Means Committee and city staff for the work they have been doing in drafting out the Paris Just Cause Ordinance. I've been involved with supporting this cause for about 2 years now. It's really unfortunate that's taken this long, but due to also the unprecedented times that we're at right now, our organization as El Centro del Migrante and other orgs are supporting the IE Tenants Unit for many reasons. not only because of the unprecedented times and ongoing issues that are coming in our region, but knowing that our rent is going up and there's no actual increase in wages and ongoing ICE raids in our community, it's really having a tremendous burden, mental health on our families. I'm a proud daughter of immigrants, but right now what we're seeing is an uproar of community not being able to work, live, go to church. There's ongoing things that are happening in our community, which is taking a financial burden on all of us. As I mentioned, I consider Paris my home, but I wish to see a lot of more community members to see Paris as their home, a long-term home. Not only for homeowners, but also those that are renters, mobile homes. We all know that, currently in the situation we live in, we have more than one family living in a household. And that includes mine. I am blessed to say that I have a home due to my father. My father passed away during COVID, but I continue to do the work for my community because I know in the long term, we need to be ready. We were not ready for COVID. There were no hospitals. We need to be ready now. If we're not ready now, then we should have been ready yesterday. But now I'm here today to urge the council to support the Universal Just Cause because this is an ongoing issue that's gonna affect us. If it's not this, it's gonna be something else, and we gotta continue to protect our vulnerable communities, especially the children. If we don't see ourselves doing something great in our community, we should look at our children because they're the ones that taking on the burden, especially if they don't have a home where they can have their light on or knowing that their rent is paid. They're not gonna be able to do simple things that even to go to school. They're not living. So that's why I'm here today to urge the council and to continue to support the Universal Just Cause ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Blanca Lopez.
Good evening, council and city staff. My name is Blanca Lopez. I'm a board member for the Inland Empire Community Land Trust and a Paris resident. I want to just highlight some of the comments that were already made here. The council has been engaged in this conversation on the Just Cause ordinance for over 2 years now. There's overwhelming support, not just from the community. I also want to thank TODEC, who submitted thousands of petitions that speak volumes for the community and their support and need for this ordinance to pass. Centro de Migrante, with the executive director who just spoke, and our organization, the Inland Empire Community Land Trust. I want to thank the leadership staff there for the ongoing work over the past 2 years of trying to get the facts and all of the information to the council so that this can be passed. Obviously, I don't think we have to tell anybody the need for the extraneous burden that housing has become on so many families. This would provide protections to residents. It would not penalize landlords if there are landlords or future landlords on the council. Understand that this would not penalize landlords in any way. It would just provide protections against predatory landlords who want to break the law because they understand that there is nothing in place to hold them accountable. This is extremely needed by our community, and I hope that you all carry this through after 2 years of all the work that's been put in by the organizations that are present today and the thousands of petitions by the community that have been submitted thanks to TODEC. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cameron Weasel.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council and city staff. I want to thank Michelle and the rest of the city staff, as well as the Ways and Means Committee, for your diligent work on this item. My name is Cameron Wessel. I'm speaking today on behalf of the California Apartment Association, which represents thousands of housing providers across the state, including here in Paris. The California Apartment Association respectfully opposes the adoption of a local just cause eviction ordinance. California already has among the strongest tenant protection laws in the nation through both AB 1482 and SB 567. These state laws clearly define when a tenancy can be terminated. They set strict policies for violations and outline the requirements for both at-fault and no-fault evictions. Adding another local layer would only create confusion, inconsistency, and compliance issues for tenants, landlords, and even the courts. Other cities that have gone down this path have seen how costly it can be. A local ordinance can add staffing, administrative costs, and cause housing production and supply to drop. Paris has the opportunity to avoid these unintended consequences. It's also important to understand that 98% of rental housing in Paris is owned and operated by local mom-and-pop landlords. These are not corporate investors. These are families and retirees who provide affordable housing in our community. Imposing new regulations and potentially legal exposure will only discourage them from staying in the rental market, reducing the supply and ultimately driving rents higher. And finally, the data show that eviction filings across Riverside County remain at or below pre-pandemic levels, accounting for only about 1% of total households. So the idea that there's a eviction crisis currently isn't supported by the facts. I think many of the examples that were given, they're very unfortunate, they're heartbreaking, and these are instances of violations of current state law. So instead of creating redundant local rules, we encourage the city to focus on educating renters and policy providers about the strong protections that are already in place. Oftentimes, the tenants don't realize that they do have protections that are very robust. So we at the Apartment Association, we try to educate them on what their rights are. And the California Apartment Association stands ready to assist the City of Paris with outreach and public education efforts to ensure both tenants and landlords understand their rights and responsibilities. And I do want to just address, Councilmember Corona asked a great question, and you
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you.
Yumilet Perez.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Yamilet Perez, and I come on behalf of Todek Legal Center, but also for myself. My mom worked 2 jobs, acting older than I was. I should have been acting my age. My grandmother stressing, I could feel her pain. My mother tried to do her best, all on minimum wage. But it was hard when I see the government enrage. Such a bad example, you should know it. Things are harder in my apartment. Roaches and old carpets, and I am an enemy's target. Mattress by the, I'm an enemy's target. Mattress are by the garbage, and I know it's hard to grow up. But it's time to grow up. I made some promises that I would make accomplishments, but ended up in trouble. And please accept my apologies, and I would show the government that it's time for change. Buy my mother the car she needed and have someone to drive her in. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all.
All right. I'm going to close the public hearing at. Come on up. It'll be my last one.
Good evening, folks. I'll try and make it count. So, hello again, council members. So, it is important that we make our time worth it, that we make the time of everybody who's tried to collaborate on this worthwhile. And so one way that we can avoid redundancies would be by justifying and making good on the effort of people these last couple of years who have done their best in good faith to intelligently make recommendations based off of legislative precedent, which is also the foundation that we should be willing to build upon. Now, before that, I do have to make a crucial clarification. One thing that we should also be willing to build upon is with regards to mobile homes and even special occupancy parks, which even includes the dreaded RV parks, because there is legal precedent in that regard. I understand that things sometimes travel slowly, sometimes things take a while to be clarified, but September 2024, it was signed into law, AB 1472. It went into law in January of this year. It went into law January 1st. And that specifically was put in place to cement the understanding that a resident of a special occupancy park, that is to say an RV park, who has lived there for 9 months out of 12, is considered a resident under California law. That is the type of tenant that they are. They no longer just qualify for the basic protections under the RV park occupancy law of the early 90s. And so we do exist in a relatively new environment for that, but AB 1472 was passed in 2024 specifically to extend, to very implicitly extend some of the protections from AB 1482 from 2019 to those who reside in special occupancy parks. So there's no reason not to incorporate things that have to do with them, especially when that's thousands of residents that we're talking about. That is part of what people have worked for. So I'm just trying to clarify that now. You can look it up. Another thing that is quite important, that I guess will have to be my last point here. If we try to include things like saying that, of course, when we want to demonstrate that a landlord is talking about real criminal activity that establishes just cause. I understand the request for a police report, but a police report does not inherently lead to a conviction. A police report does not inherently mean that a person actually made certain threats. Now, landlords know better than anyone, restraining orders and things of that nature. You need to establish a trail of evidence. And so.
Thank you. All right, we're going to close the public hearing at 7:57. Councilman Corona, did you want to continue where you left off?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. I did go over the with the agenda, and I'm looking through it, and even though our agenda was sideways, I was trying to read sideways and everything. So for clarification, I know some people were talking about the rent's high, and I definitely agree, right? We could all agree the rent is high, but this isn't rent control. We're not voting on rent control. Is that?
Correct. This is just cause eviction protections, and 1482 does include a cap on rent increases.
Okay. And I think the gentleman from the apartment association, I think he was talking and the microphone cut off. But
Yes.
but my I'm not asking him to come up, but for clarification, that after if I'm renting from your house and we sign for a year lease agreement, and then you say, okay, time's up, a year's out, right? Is the agreement that I now have to get my stuff and leave? Or can I just, as long as I'm keeping a monthly fee, I can just keep on staying indefinitely?
So there's a more detailed answer. I'm actually going to defer that to legal. There's a little bit of it's a yes
Okay.
and no situation.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Matt Cohen. I'm with the City Attorney's Office. The answer to your question, Council Member, is it depends, but essentially after a year, regardless of whether or not you have a tenancy, a periodic tenancy, you must have just cause to be able to evict someone, either no fault or at fault. If the tenant is unwilling to agree to new lease terms, then that would be considered an at-fault eviction. That is written into the current legislation or the current law in the civil code. So yes, you can evict them, but you have to. It's still covered under the law.
So if we agree to it, so if I'm renting Michelle's house, her extra house that she has, and at the end of the year, I can still stay there, or she would, or I would say, hey, I don't want to leave, and then she would have to pay for me to leave somewhere?
She would have to have just cause to evict you.
Just cause.
And just cause would be her unwillingness to sign a new lease under the conditions that fall.
Okay,
under the
because she does have a just cause.
Yeah,
that's it.
and just as another reminder that those provisions have certain exemptions as well. So if you are a single, like if you own just one home and you're not a corporation, not an REIT, not a LLC, then those provisions don't even apply to you, so long as you've put that in your lease and stated that those provisions don't apply to you.
Oh, so 1482 is just only for, because I read the staff report, it didn't mention, if you're like a mom and pop place, it doesn't apply to you?
Correct.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
But you have to notify them in the lease that condition doesn't apply.
Okay. I don't plan on being a landlord anytime soon. Okay. So quick question, because I know you work with the housing department, Michelle, or are you okay?
Until recently.
How many? So judging by the numbers we had, about 2/3 of all our housing units in Paris are privately owned, right? Family owned.
Are owner occupied.
Owner
That's
occupied.
the number, yes.
Owner occupied is the word. Okay, so we can imagine that 1/3 are renters. And how many of those are going to be single family home renters? Do you know those numbers?
I don't have those numbers, no.
Okay. How much does that translate in population? Because I know those are households, but how much does that translate to population? How many residents are live in a rental unit?
I don't believe we have that number either. We can look into that and bring the information back.
Okay. All right. Is it okay if I give comments or?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So, I do want to thank the Ways and Means Committee. I know it took 2 years, but it's an important issue. Anything housing related is an important issue because it affects so many people. I know our state has, I think our state does a good job of protecting our renters. At the same time, too, I mean, being somebody who's the grandson of somebody that had a couple of rental properties, I saw how she was taken advantage of by tenants. And I'm not saying that that's the case for most people, but it does happen. So it's important that we also protect the small mom and pop landlords as well, too. I mean, she put all her grandkids through college with that. So I definitely want to thank those that were involved, and especially Maribel Nunez for really pushing this to happen. Did we ever discuss on room rentals? Because I know we talked about units, like as a housing unit, but what about just renting a room? Is that included in this, or?
That was not included specifically included in the discussion at Ways and Means Committee, but we could discuss it this evening.
Okay. And then, weird question, but what would happen if the lease signee passes away before the term, but they have family still living there? Is that?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand. If the person who signed the lease passes away.
They pass away, but they still have family there. Do they continue? I mean, I guess if they're still paying the rent, do they still get to continue to stay there?
That actually.
Good question.
I'd imagine it happens, right? I mean,
That's an excellent question. My initial reaction would be, council member, that the estate is now the new tenant.
Okay.
And therefore, they would be able to continue out the lease.
Okay.
But you do typically have to have a name on the lease. But given that it has to go through probate, or they would have an estate name of this individual, yes, the family it would be hard to justify eviction under that, as long as they're still complying with the terms of the lease.
okay. So for clarification, the mom and pop housing units, this wouldn't apply to this?
The protections under AB 1482 do not apply.
What about if we were to bring something? Does that? Because I know we're using AB 1482 as a framework, but then we're kind of doing some add-ons. But are we doing anything for the mom and pop, or it doesn't apply to them? Just a large scale.
As proposed and recommended by the Ways and Means Committee, the recommendation was to follow the state AB 1492. The city can impose stricter restrictions if you'd like to, but that's up to the council.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions and comments. I have.
Don't sit down yet, sir.
Thank
I
you.
want you to answer a quick question that Councilman Corona brought up. Does AB 1482 apply to someone just renting a room in someone's house?
There are exemptions for rooms within, and it's listed on here, about an owner's roommate in a single-family homes. It's listed under the protections under 1482. So if someone's renting a room in someone's home, that would not be covered typically under 1482.
It's not covered, okay. All right, I don't have anybody else in the queue. Nobody has any questions? Wow, that was pretty good. This is, we're here to provide directions to staff regarding the item, so any recommendations, anybody?
Perhaps we can start from each item and go through each item as we see it to help get consensus through that.
Well, we can, I mean, if you guys don't have no comments, but let's go ahead and start with the top one.
So thank you. So under the applicability, the Ways and Means Committee recommendation is to mimic 1482. So to apply to all units as long as, when all tenants have lawfully occupied the residence for over 12 months or any single tenant has lawfully occupied for over 24.
Quick question. With the second part, or when at least, it's supposed to say at least or at least?
Oh, yes, apologies. Yes, at least.
Okay, at least, okay, because I was thinking at the signing of the lease. Okay, so that should say at least.
Yes.
With a T at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, next one. Exemptions.
Is everyone in agreement with that?
So that's
Oh,
to.
no one's,
Okay, so we're sticking with.
are there
Ways
any
and
other
Means. Okay.
questions on this? So then, yeah, I mean, if you guys are good with that.
Okay.
I mean, if you have no questions or no issues, then you're good with it, so let's go on to exemptions.
Okay, so the recommendation from Ways and Means is also to mimic 1482.
Any questions on exemptions or suggestions? Next one. At fault.
The change here was to require documentation by police report for the criminal activity, and then also to add criminal threat to the landlord or any other tenant in the unit, and also require documentation by police report.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, I'd also like to add documented by police report or incident log. Not every call out by the police generates a police report. Sometimes an individual could do something that's criminal activity, but it wouldn't be a full-fledged police report. It would be an incident log. For instance, I work as a DA in San Bernardino County. A lot of times we have stalking cases, 649.6. We'll pull, you won't have a lot of police reports for a violation of a restraining order, like a civil or criminal. But if you pull the incident log for that address, you can see that the police were called out multiple times. So we use that to establish a stalking. So I think documented by police report or incident report, if the landlord's able to pull that. So I think we should add that as well.
Councilman Corona?
So I figure you have way more experience than I do, but I mean, if someone says, hey, I saw him doing criminal activity, the police come out, they find out we can't prove anything, that's not, like, it'll be reported, right?
They won't necessarily generate a report in every incident. Sometimes it'll just be an incident log.
Okay.
It might just say the police were called out. And I think if there's like multiple incident logs, you should be able to accumulate them. I know some people mentioned conviction, but conviction's a long way out in terms of getting a police report, getting it to the DA deciding to file it, and then the person pleading guilty or getting convicted by jury.
Okay. Well, when I'm thinking about a landlord just saying, hey, I know they're doing drugs out there. I see them. They're people are coming in and out, but there's no proof of it. But there's a police log. I mean, what's...
It's a questionable area. You're bringing up a very good point.
Yeah, I mean...
You know, these are just allegations, and yes, I understand what you're talking about,
Yeah,
convictions,
I
but
fully understand.
without a conviction, then that means it didn't happen.
But I think my issue is domestic violence, for instance. Sometimes the police will get called out. They'll generate a police report. The report will go to the DA. The DA may decide not to file it because there's not enough proof to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. But you as a landlord, you may hear from the other tenants that, hey, you hear the victim screaming. You hear the disheveled items in the area. But the DA may say, hey, I don't know. It's just he said versus she said, and I'm not going to file this. But there's enough where you know something is going on. Same thing with drug transactions. I'm just thinking of the situation where I think a conviction is a high, very, very high standard.
Okay. No, yeah. I think this goes above and beyond what 1482 does. I do like that, but
It's a gray area.
I mean, if cops are called out of my house, but there's nothing going on. Is that my fault? So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
We can keep it at police report.
Okay.
Our police report are documented series of, like a preponderance of evidence that a crime may have occurred on the property. And then the landlord would be able to prove that through maybe not only incident logs, but eyewitnesses, maybe other tenants saying, hey, the police were called, they didn't generate a report, but we know something criminal is going on in that house. I just think of a situation where you're getting the police call there, say you hear a woman, or 90% of the time it's a woman victim, screaming. Police get called, she says nothing happened, shuts the door, no report generated, but the tenants all hear things, they see things. And I think if you're a landlord or you're a tenant, you should be able to evict the people based on that.
I get it, but it's still a gray area. So you're establishing incidences that are happening, but what if they're not happening for all those instances that don't? So, I mean, you're documenting something that technically is a gray area. Now, unless there's a way of getting input from the police, just like when they want to do an ABC license, right? They want to get a liquor license, we get input from the police. Hey, this person's filing a petition for this. I don't know if they're, they're not going to want to get involved in civil matters to begin with, but it's a gray area. Anything else?
No, I do understand, but I think it needs to be clear, because I could see a landlord that says, hey, I want to get rid of this guy, and I'm just gonna.
Yeah. All right, so let's get a thumbs up here for everybody, or tell me, is everybody wants these police reports in there or not?
Well, I guess my question is can we keep the police report but be kind of specific? It's like, unless if it's a more intense criminal threat, like, is that fine to do? Because then you
Going to be the judge for all this. Yes, let's hear from
If
the
I
city
may,
manager.
what I believe Councilman Mayor Pro Tem is referring to, that as written, it's what the recommendation is fine. However, he'd like to add an incident log to be part of it. So as is fine, but if the council wishes to add an additional.
As is not fine, because you have a councilman who's saying otherwise.
Well,
If
the
someone wants to
police
just get rid
report-
of you, you say,
the
well,
police rep-
anybody can call in and make a police report.
Well, we can clear, we have our
I-
police
I'm a,
captain.
I'm a retired police officer.
You
Anybody
know.
can come up to you and say, yeah, John Doe just swung at me. He missed, but he swung at me. And,
You're correct on that. I'm just looking, as a person that works in the family violence unit, we get a lot of police reports where a victim may call, say her boyfriend, I say her because 90% of the time it is a female victim, her boyfriend, husband, father of her child hit her. He's not on scene when police arrive, but there's enough in terms of she may have a black eye. But the DA may decline to file it just because there's not enough to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, which is the highest threshold. If we say maybe a preponderance of evidence, criminal documented by police report and a preponderance of evidence, which is about 51%.
is everybody good with what's in there right now? We're not talking about his add-on yet, just by saying you got to have a police report.
I'm okay with that one.
Nava?
I have a question regarding that. So the question was brought up, since we're getting into the details of it. Who is the oversight committee of this? Is that city staff? Are we implementing a whole new
I
committee?
did ask that.
Yes, if we implement an ordinance, then it would be on the city to enforce.
And I would imagine we'd have a budget increase in order.
Yes.
At this point, is it additional staff that's required, or, there we go.
All there.
And at this point, we don't have a specific number, correct? Just because we are still figuring out all the different variations of, okay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. So I guess just to add to that, by the end of this discussion, would have more or less some direction as to what would come back as far as a budget line number regarding what would be needed?
Yes, we can bring it back for that discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to make a decision when you don't even know how much it's going to cost. So go back to the screen again. So my question to you, are you okay with the police reports? Okay. All right, so everybody's good that. Now, the final question to that, do you want to add an incident log? An incident log just means the police were dispatched, but it didn't generate a report. And as Councilman or Mayor Pro Tem keeps saying, you could have a numerous amount because they just keep coming, but the police are saying, or the guy's not there. Every time they come out, he's not there. Do you want to add incident reports to this?
If I may, I believe it would be helpful, especially if we will be relying on an oversight committee just to help build a case. I think if there's more,
Because what you can do technically as this committee, whoever it's going to be, they can call the police, say, hey, we've got this eviction in process or whatever, and they're claiming there's multiple calls to this. Can you verify? They can come back and say, yes, we respond there quite frequently all the time because of domestic violence. So, all right, you good? All right, add incident calls. Is that the terminology you guys are using? Incident log? Mayor Pro Tem, did you have something? Okay, good. Next one? No fault?
Yes, and this was keeping AB 1482 and adding part to the parties that can qualify for owner reclamation of the property for move-in. And that was to add great-grandchild, great-grandparent, and in-laws. And the definition here is for kind of the traditionally accepted, the spouses or partners, parents and siblings.
Any comments on that one? Everybody's good with that? Next.
There were a few slides of this one, so this is the tenant protection section. One is for the at-fault eviction to require multilingual notices.
That's a given.
And then the other is for the city council to discuss the topic of relocation assistance. So here is the three different variations we see. 1482 current existing is 1 month or waiver of the final month. The city of Antioch is 2 months at the current rent level at the time of the eviction, with additional assistance if any of the tenants are qualified by being disabled or elderly or ill. And then Baldwin Park is 2.5, the HUD fair market rate.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
I think with relocation assistance, we should stick to the state law, AB 1482 and SB 567. I think we can get into an issue, say for instance, you own a property and your sibling or your parents, they need to move into that property. So you need to have that property available. And you have to, serve the tenants with a no-fault eviction. You would be mandated, according to Baldwin Park, to provide them 2.5, not just the rent, but the HUD fair market value. So if you have a unit, like Mr. Corona mentioned, your grandmother was most likely charging under that value for her tenants because she probably had tenants that weren't giving her any issues. You would have to provide 2.5 months of relocation assistance to gain your property back for your immediate family. So I just have an issue with that personally.
Anybody else?
No.
Councilman Corona?
But I guess going back to the attorney, right? This doesn't apply to mom and pop units?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So these are large scale, they got multiple units. Okay.
They're REITs, LLCs, corporations, or
Okay.
mobile park homers.
Okay. So the issue, because I mean, like there wasn't, I tried reading the whole thing and I didn't see it. But the case of like the mom and pop with the unit, right? If they need to get in there, then they won't. If they need to have their grandson needs a place and he needs to, and they give him notice, they don't have to pay.
The provisions wouldn't apply, provided they put in the proper notice in the rental agreement. They need to notify the tenant that they are excluded from these protections.
Oh, they have to put that in there. Okay.
In the
I
contract.
would need to say, if I own the property, I am a mom and pop place, to use the terminology, accepted terminology. I am not, there's actually language in the statute that you need to copy and paste in there, but it basically says, these provisions are not subject to me because I do not qualify as a REIT, LLC, corporation, otherwise.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, you want it back in?
Yes, a quick question for the attorney. Say an individual places a single-family home in an LLC to avoid any sort of liability in terms of a tree falls, and they just want to make sure that they have that extra level of protection. I mean, I know it's something you could probably pay $100 to put something into an LLC. Would they be under AB 1482, or would it still qualify as a mom and pop?
They would then be under AB 1482 because it applies to LLCs.
And that would be the issue I would have, because not everyone, I mean, we say mom and pop, but some people who have a baseline level of legal understanding might put their house in an LLC to provide it. Say there's a big oak tree and the tree fall, they want to provide their main asset. So I think, I'm not saying it's disingenuous, but I think we're just kind of conflating, say for instance, people who put their homes in trust or people who have wills. I think just saying, oh, well, they're not a mom and pop because they pay that fee to put it in an LLC. I think we should stick to the state law.
I second that.
All right, majorities say stay with the state law.
Okay. So 1 month, 1 month's rent or waiver of the final month's rent. Okay.
That's it?
That's everything. Thank you.
All right. You had something?
Yeah, I just have a general question. Michelle, have we done any outreach or educational information for our residents and families to know what AB 1482 is?
Not specific to 1482, but general tenants' rights. We do work with the Fair Housing Council. We conducted office hours on site to make it a kind of a more local accessibility.
Okay.
And I don't believe anybody came in. And then we've done social media posts and informational things like that, and material distribution.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we're going to come back with a clean ordinance with all the changes, just us, and cost analysis to our next meeting, and then we can decide. All right, let me go backwards now. All right, so we're going back to 11, which is our public hearings. Oops. Which one? My goodness. Wow, okay. Item 9, approval of minutes. 9A is consideration to approve the minutes of the regular joint meeting held on September 30th, 2025 of the City Council, successor agency of the redevelopment agencies, and all those other entities as listed on our agenda. If there are no comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion by Councilman Corona, second by Councilwoman Vallejo. Please call the vote. We're waiting for our voting screen. Thank you. We got it. We're good.
5-0, motion approved.
All right, item 10 is our consent calendar item. Consent calendar items are normally enacted in one motion. The mayor or city council may remove a consent calendar item for separate action. We do have public comment, which is limited to 3 minutes. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
Yes, I do. I have for 10G and 10H.
Let's start with 10G. Is that you, Alex?
All right, good evening again, council members. Regarding 10G, I'll just do 10G and 10H in this, yeah. So regarding 10G, sure, it's all well and good to have an emergency operations plan. I would just implore the council to always keep in mind a few crucial things. One of those is that various guidelines and initiatives that this kind of whole thing for the city falls under do emphasize that all aspects of civil life should be engaged with. The general populace, especially disadvantaged communities, should be kind of probed to help determine what the points of distribution would be during emergencies, what kind of help they would get, and at what point. The most sobering way I could remind us of that is that a lot of these rules and guidelines are called post-Katrina guidelines for a reason, because of the way that people were failed and died as a result of that. Men, women, innocent children, and the need for a more considerate response to whatever the disaster may be, whatever its severity may be, and being able to get to people who need that help as quickly as possible, keeping in mind the disadvantages among different parts of the community, also maintaining a certain kinds of liaisons, maintaining a certain kind of rapport with community leaders, not just stakeholders, because of course it's all well and good that we may coordinate no matter what the emergency is with EMWD to make sure that we keep getting our tap running or that LA keeps getting their water. But how about the people living here? You know, there are ways that we can avoid certain critical failures while still failing segments of the populace and causing unnecessary harm and suffering to your constituents. So that's what I would keep in mind whenever we adopt plans like this and when we want to practice what we preach on paper like that. With regards to H, I mean, what can I say? I mean, support. It's rather overdue. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Anybody else?
That is all.
Okay. All right, council, if anybody doesn't have any questions or comments, I entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar, 10A through I. We have a motion by Councilman Corona, second by Mayor Pro Tem. Please call a vote.
Five oh, motion approved.
All right, thank you. Item 11 is our, excuse me, is our public hearings. Item 11A, B, and C are annexations. Nope, yes. Not annexation. Are they annexations? Yes. So we can waive the hearing or the report, presentation rather. This is a consideration to adopt proposed resolutions number next in order regarding annexation of PM 38518. This is the Paris Logistics Center South to the city maintenance districts. PM 38518 is located at the southwest corner of Mapes Road and Getz Road. The APNs are 330-120-002, 330-120-017, 330-120-018, 330-120-020, and 330-120-021, and the owner is IDI Logistics Paris Fulfillment Center. So that being said, we will open up the public hearing at 8:27. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody wishing to speak on this item? Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing at 8:27 and ask the city clerk to open up the 9 ballots.
City of Paris annexation of PM 38518, Maintenance District Number 84-1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of PM 38518, Maintenance District Number 84-1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of PM 38518, Maintenance District Number 84-1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of PM 38518 to Benefit Zone 200, Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of PM 38518 to benefit Zone 200, Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of PM 38518 to benefit Zone 200, Landscape Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of PM 38518 to benefit Zone 164, Flood Control Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes. City of Paris annexation of PM 38518 to benefit Zone 164, Flood Control Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes. Okay, the last one. City of Paris annexation of PM 38518 to benefit Zone 164, Flood Control Maintenance District Number 1. The ballot is marked yes.
All right, very good, thank you. I think that's our longest we've ever had. At this time, I'm looking for a motion on the three, oops, on the wrong page. I'm looking for a resolution on the 9 ballots. Scratch that, scratch that. I'm now looking, I'm now asking for a motion on the 3 resolutions. Sorry about that. And I have a motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Councilman Corona. Please call the vote.
Motion approved.
All righty, thank you, everybody. 11B is consideration to adopt proposed resolution numbers next in order regarding annexation of PM 38518, Paris Logistics Center South, into CFD 2018-02 Public Services District. Annexation and number 29, PM 38518 is located at the southwest corner of Mapes Road and Getz Road. APNs are 330-120-002, 330-120-017, 330-120-018, 330-120-020, and 330-120-021. The owner again is IDI Logistics Paris Fulfillment Center. If nobody has any quick questions or comments, I'm going to open up the public hearing at 8:33. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody wishing to speak at this time? All right, seeing none, we will close the hearing at 8:33, and I'll call for a motion on the first resolution. A motion by Councilman Corona, second by Mayor Pro Tem Rabb. Please call the vote. What are you waiting on?
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk, can you please open the 3 ballots?
Community Facilities District Number 2018-02, Public Services District of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 29, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes. Community Facilities District Number 2018-02, Public Services District of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 29, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes. Community Facilities District Number 2018-02, Public Services District of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 29, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes.
Alrighty, thank you. Okay, at this time, I'm calling, asking for a motion on the second resolution. A motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Councilwoman Vallejo. Please call the vote.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Okay, item 11C is consideration to adopt proposed resolution numbers next in order regarding annexation of PM 38518 Paris Logistics Center South into COD 1S, which is the South Public Services District. Annexation number 16.PM 38518 is located at the southwest corner of Mapes Road and Getz Road. The same APN numbers will apply, 330-120-002, 330-120-017, 330-120-018, 330-120-020, 330-120-021, and again, the owner is IDL Paris Fulfillment Center. Council, anybody have any quick questions or comments? If not, I'm going to open the public hearing at 8:37. Madam Clerk, do we have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody wishing at this time? Hearing seen none, we will close the public hearing at 8:37, and I'll call for a motion on the first resolution. A motion by Councilwoman Nava, second by Mayor Pro Tem Rabb. Please call the vote.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, can you open up the three ballots, please?
Community Facilities District Number 1S, South Paris Public Services of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 16, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes. Community Facilities District Number 1S, South Paris Public Services of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 16, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes. Community Facilities District Number 1S, South Paris Public Services of the City of Paris, Annexation Number 16, Special Tax and Appropriations Limit Election. The ballot is marked yes.
Great, thank you. Okay, at this time, I'll call for a motion on the second resolution. A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Rabb, a second by Councilwoman Vallejo. Please call the vote.
Motion approved.
Thank you. Item D, consideration to continue the December 9, 2025 City Council meeting zoning code text amendment 25-00005, a proposal to amend chapters 19.08 and 19.44, Title 19 of the Paris Municipal Code, and amend the Paris Good Neighbor Guidelines to update industrial development standards aimed at enhancing protections when industrial warehouses and distribution projects are in proximity to sensitive receptors. This is going to be requested to be moved to December 9th per staff's recommendation. Madam Clerk, did we have any requests to speak on this?
No, sir.
Does anybody wishing to speak on this item? All right, council, any comments or questions? If not, looking for a motion. Motion by Councilwoman Vallejo.
No, it's time for questions or comments.
I asked if you had any comments or questions. No one said anything, so we moved to a motion.
I requested my before.
Oh, now you just did.
No, I promise
All
I
right,
had
Councilwoman
it.
Nava.
Well, I actually did have a set of questions, but it looks like I'm speaking to an empty room without folks, so I don't know who to direct these questions to at this time. But I guess I'll just throw them out to the winds. One of the questions that we received a comment letter that was submitted by an attorney's office from a firm that represents Prologis, Inc. And in that letter, they mentioned that they wanted us to consider balanced industrial growth with community protection. And so I had some questions regarding that. And they also mentioned that we're regional leaders in sustainable industrial planning, which I, of course, had questions for that. So maybe in hopes these questions will be heard, and by the next time we'll be ready to address some of these. But the bottom line for me is that we have approximately 800 acres of industrial projects currently in process. And so tonight's item for me is really important, and I would have loved to have the opportunity to speak on it in order to and by the way, our planning commission did a great job at vetting this item. So I really trusted what they had to offer, and I, of course, was looking forward to discuss some additional items. So that's what I have for now, and for future reference, this question is directed to staff. I understand that this item was recommended to be continued. However, I am a person that loves to read and likes to be refreshed on items, and although I watch the Planning Commission and I've obviously been following along, it would have been really important for me to have a staff report included on this item. And I was actually really surprised when I sat down to read the agenda that there was really nothing added besides the blue cover sheet. So for future reference, if staff could please, even though an item is to be continued, at least update us with additional information up to date as to when the item's being placed on the agenda. And also another comment for staff, I've noticed that we have been very involved in keeping our industrial developers abreast of what's happening and what's items, what upcoming items we have on the agenda relating to their industry. However, we've had an array of residents and public speakers who have also been very vocal regarding this specific topic. So if there isn't a list of residents of emails that to be reached out to, I know we have groups who we've asked before to be involved in these items, and the fact that they weren't involved as much as their industrial leaders is something that's concerning to me, and I hope, again, for future reference, that's something that would be addressed. So those are all my comments for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Corona.
Yes, for transparency, because I was talking to some residents, and they kind of brought this up because it's been a long time. I brought this item up in January 28th earlier this year, and here we are 260 days later, and we're voting to continue the item, right? And I get it, right? What started out was just kind of expanding our good neighbor guidelines, which we already had the framework for. So we're just kind of adding things here and there. It looks like we're putting in the code. But if for city manager, if you could kind of explain why it's taking so long for this item to come to us.
Yes, Councilman Corona. Yes, this was first brought up in January. Staff was requested to bring forth the comparison AB 98, since it was just enacted in January, and how it compares to our Good Neighbor Guidelines in hopes of tightening up our Good Neighbor Guidelines. That item came back to council in April. At such time, the council directed staff to come back with an actual code amendment to make these Good Neighbor Guidelines part of the zoning code. And that same night at that meeting, it was brought up to our attention that the city of Riverside was also working on something similar. Staff was monitoring what the city of Riverside was doing. Later on, in talking to you, Councilman Corona, you did mention you did not want to wait till Riverside had enacted. At that time, staff was trying to kind of see where the direction the city of Riverside was going. So once we got clarification from you, we proceeded to move forward with the actual code amendment. And because in the Paris Valley Commerce Center, that is a specific plan, we are required to do a tribal consultation. So that took some time. I believe it was originally scheduled to go to Planning Commission in August, end of August or early September, but it was continued for one meeting, I believe, till the next month. Ended up in September, and here we are tonight because of notification requirements. And here we are today.
So how we didn't let the Native American groups know in April or May that this was going to be coming up? Was there a reason for that?
I believe at the time, staff was still monitoring the city of Riverside, and that could have been done, absolutely, but unfortunately, we didn't, trying to kind of follow Riverside's direction, but
Yeah, and really quickly, City of Riverside still hasn't moved forward with their ordinance. So as the city manager mentioned, we were trying to follow up with them. I did have some contact with their leadership staff, and they said they were waiting. And so one of the reasons was that we were trying to figure out what Riverside was ultimately going to decide on in terms of their ordinance, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't start the tribal consultation. But once we were informed of their direction to move forward, we started the tribal consultation. But it's a long process with the tribes. There's a minimum 3-month consultation period, so it does take time, and it is a requirement of the state before we can move forward with the specific plan amendment component of the project.
Right, which I understand, but I mean, May, June, July, like we would have had it already by now. And then with the issue with Riverside, I think at that time I said, hey, let's look to see what they're doing, not let's wait to see what they're gonna do, right? And I like to be the first city around here. I think just even with the item we decided today, we were one of the first cities around this whole area to do a just cause thing. So I think it might have been miscommunication, but I think just a simple phone call or email could have done this, and we could have decided on the bottom half of Paris, I guess the south portion of Paris, right? But we wanted to put that at the same time, but we could have decided that for this meeting.
That is correct.
Okay, and can we just, for transparency for the residents that kind of been bringing this up, can we?
Sure. Yes, at the Planning Commission meeting, it was, because like I mentioned, it's a two-part code amendment, the North Paris area and the South Paris. Both items were reviewed at the Planning Commission, however, because of the tribal consultation, to just make it, bring both parts of the city together at the same time, it was told to the community, the development community, and I believe the residents as well, that this item would come back to the council in full ordinance in December. However, in trying to move it along sooner than later, we try to move in the first component, which is the South Paris, and the department didn't notify anyone, particularly the development community, until Monday of last week. And they felt that they weren't given enough time to provide feedback. They were originally told it would be coming to council in December. At that time, in working with Mayor on the agenda, it was prudent to just bring everything together to that we get enough feedback and move it to December. We did notify the residents, I believe over the weekend, that this item was being continued as well.
Okay, can you say the last part?
We did notify, we specifically contacted residents on, I believe it was Saturday, Kenneth?
Okay.
That's correct.
So we let the developers know last Monday about that we're gonna bring this item back, and they weren't happy about it. But then our own residents, the residents that come here all the time, we let them know on Saturday. I think that's kind of going to what Councilwoman Nava was saying. Like we roll out the red carpet for developers, right? If they tell us they want something here, we go out of our. It seems like it. I'm not saying that's the case, but the appearance from our residents that I've been told, it seems like we go above and beyond for our developers. But our own residents, you know, they got to find out when the agenda comes out for everybody else. You know, it just like, I think that going forward, anything related to industrial, we have to let our residents know, specifically the resident organizations, specifically Paris Neighbors in Action, because they are very interested in the development of the industrial sector in our community. So I think we could have done this better. We could have been more transparent. Somebody could contact me because I was told by our staff. So we're telling the developers, hey, we're gonna bring this up in December, and then with this item too, we're gonna say, you know, even though it's supposed to come today, we're gonna bring this up in December as well too. But I'm telling the residents because I was told by our staff, hey, it's coming in October. Be ready, it's gonna come in October. And then October comes around and, you know, same thing, I see the agenda and there's nothing there. You know, I just think that we could have been more transparent and just a simple phone call, just a courteous phone call could have sufficed for that. But yeah, that's all the comments that I have. But is it gonna come in December? Is that?
Yes, the request is to vote for it tonight should be continued, and we would notify everyone as you directed us to, even without the required notification.
And we're going to bring both up
Okay.
in south and north.
Yeah, because we've done two different parts of the city before. Our city's very linear, right? We always say that.
Yeah.
And I know the truck ordinance, we did the north one day and then the south another day. And can I request though, at least, that we don't put it at the end of the agenda? Because I know that's what we did with the planning commission. I'm not saying that anyone did it on purpose, but I saw before the meeting even happened, I saw, man, that's a long meeting. It's at the last item. It's not gonna be seen. And sure enough, it was extended a whole another month and a half or something. You know, so if we could request that we don't
But
put it
it's a
at the
public
end of the
hearing, so
agenda.
we can
Okay.
itemize that to be upfront.
Okay, sounds good.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
And duly noted on your comments. All right, Councilman or Mayor Pro Tem Rep?
Yes, I'd just like to echo sentiments of my colleagues regarding the notification, along with Councilwoman Nava mentioning the lack of a staff report. I think a staff report would have been helpful. I was able to listen to the Planning Commission meeting yesterday on a walk, so I got the gist of the conversation, but I think having it in written form would have helped. And I do think it is important that we notify the residents. One thing I would ask, is there any way we can maybe stop the processing of future permits or put the permits on notice that they may be grandfathered in, or whatever we do in December? Because my fear is that a series of applicants race between now and December 9th to get all their applications in, even though Councilman Corona did make his request almost a year ago now, January 20. I was thinking it was March, but it was actually January. So I think if there's any way we can just put them on notice that if we do decide to increase the good neighbor policies in terms of distance and everything like that, any project submitted after today would be grandfathered in or would have to adhere to those recommendations.
City Attorney, can we do that?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't need to grandfather them. And the way that vested rights work is if the application has not been completed, it hasn't gone to a hearing, the applicant doesn't have a vested right in any old laws. So any new rules that we adopt, the city adopts, they would be subject to. But you can instruct staff to very clearly, if anybody rushes in with an application, to very clearly communicate to them, this item was approved before the Planning Commission, this is going back to the council, and be on notice that if it passes, it will be applied to you.
Good? All right, thank you. Is that it? Councilwoman Vallejo?
I just want to say that I agree with the sentiments of most of the council members here, and I really would just like to remind staff that I know that we all know that it was a mistake, but it does reflect us as a council as well, and then we don't want our residents thinking that we prefer warehouse developers more than them. And just please be more mindful and really let us know, because we really value transparency. Thank you.
Duly noted, thank you. All right, looking for a motion. Motion by Councilman Corona. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Rapp. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Thank you. 11E, consideration to adopt the first reading of proposed ordinance number next in order to adopt an ordinance update 25-00001, amending chapters of Title 16 of the Paris Municipal Code to adopt the 2025 editions of the California Model Codes adopted into Title 24 of the 2025 California Building Codes with appendixes and amendments thereto, and adopt proposed resolution number next in order, amending the city's free resolution by adopting the 2025 building valuation rates published by the International Code of Council. This is going to be introduced by our Director of Development Services, Mr. Kenneth Fung.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. This item will be presented by our building official, Fire Marshal Jorge Caballero.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Honorable Mayor, esteemed members of the City Council, and dedicated city staff. I'm here today to talk about this isn't working. I'm here to talk about the importance of the proposed ordinance adopting the 2025 California Building Codes. This ordinance is crucial for ensuring that our city construction and safety standards are aligned with the latest state regulations. By adopting these codes, we will enhance the safety and resilience of our buildings, benefiting all the residents. This is how the building codes looks like at this time. Sorry about it. And this is the full list of the 2025 building codes. These include a new code created for this cycle. This Title 24, Part 7. This is the California Wildland Urban Interface Code. The proposed ordinance carries forward the city existing local amendments for the construction of the buildings in the city. No significant changes has been made at this time. The state regulations allow local amendments to be made to address local geological, topographic, or climatic conditions for the protection of the residents. The existing amendments deal with mostly fire-related items due to local climate and topographic conditions. The adopted codes and local amendments will become effective in January 2026. So as a public outreach, city staff contacted Riverside chapter of the BIA and the Commercial Real Estate Development Association. Also, a notice for a public hearing was published, and city staff received no comments. So, recommendations: that the City Council introduce the first reading of the ordinance number next in order, to approve ordinance update 25-00001, amending specified chapters of Title 16 of the Paris Municipal Code to adopt the 2025 editions of the California Building Standard Codes with appendices and amendments thereto, and to adopt resolution number next in order, amending the city fee resolution by adopting the August 2025 building valuation rates published by the International Code Council. This is the end of my presentation.
Thank you. All right, going to open up the public hearing at 8:58. Madam Clerk, do you have any requests to speak?
No, sir.
Anybody wishing to speak on this item? Hearing and seeing none, we will close the public hearing. Council, any questions or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion on the first reading of the ordinance and resolution. I have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Rabb, second by Councilwoman Nava. Please call the vote.
5-0, motion approved.
Very good, thank you. All right, 12A we heard, so it takes us to 13, Council Communications. Councilwoman Vallejo.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to first start off by saying thank you to staff, thank you to Michelle, because she taught me a lot about about the Just Cause ordinance, and it's very hard to learn everything, especially when you just got elected. You're like, what is going on? And it's a lot to take in. So I really appreciate Michelle and the team and Maribel and Luz, because it's it's a very important subject to know, but I think, I know it did take a while for them, but I think to us, it was perfect timing for me and Councilmember Rab to just take everything in and like really have it explained to us and what's like the most fair way for everyone involved. So I really like to thank them for that. Also, I would like to thank the Sheriff's Department and also CAL FIRE for coming for National Night Out. It was a great success. I had a lot of residents and people coming saying that they really liked the event. They really liked what they learned. And it was a really nice night out where most of the community came and they actually felt safe. And that's what we want them to feel. So thank you for that. And lastly, the mayor and I and staff attended the League of Cities conference in Long Beach. It was a really great conference for me to be my first time and just speaking with a lot of other business partners and then expo to know what else can we implement in the city. So I do have some ideas that I am going to let staff know for public safety wise. So that's something that I'm very excited to share. And I just wanted to say thank you for all the hard workers for staff, because I know this is these very busy months where we have a lot going on and I couldn't have had like a better staff here, and you guys are all very nice and very patient with us. So I really appreciate you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nava?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to begin by thanking all of our public speakers for tonight's meeting. I also would like to express my appreciation for our city staff, our Parish Sheriff Station, and our CAL FIRE for putting on an excellent National Night Out. I feel like it's been the best one so far, so it's going to be tough to beat it next year, but I'm definitely looking forward to participating as well. And lastly, I'd like to thank our Public Works. Today was an extremely windy and rainy day, so I know that they have their hands full. And please, for all of us out there, please allow yourself more time to get to and from your destinations and stay safe. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Corona?
Thank you, Mayor. I do want to thank staff and working with our public safety with regarding National Night Out. I was able to attend. It was a great event. I do agree with Councilwoman Nava. I think it was one of the better ones, but I'm still waiting for the helicopter to come back again. So maybe next year we could have a helicopter. I do want to request that staff bring back just a discussion item regarding the code of conduct for our city. I think with the only one that I saw, and I want to thank Councilman Rab or Mayor Pro Tem Rab for bringing that up, for giving it to me. But it's like on an old document from 1998. So if we could kind of just take a look at that, maybe if the council could take a look at it, maybe see if there's any updates or revisions on that. A couple of our parks are currently under construction. So I definitely want to tell the residents, please be patient. Okay, I know we're all excited, right? I drive by Paragon Park and I want to start playing on it, but it's very important that for safety reasons you do not try to attempt to into the parks under construction. And then I do want to request that our staff do a continuous communication with the residents of Shady Oaks and surrounding area. It's the area around surrounding DR Horton. I was able to go out there and take a look and talk to the residents in their own homes. And there's definitely some irregularities going on over there. So if maybe the building people could kind of go out there. But, I think there's some miscommunication because they're saying, hey, no construction should be happening. But you got these big old tractors right behind their house, looks like doing construction or moving dirt around. And so I think there's just kind of some issues going out. I'm going to be in continuous conversation, contact with our own staff regarding kind of this issue, and kind of eventually I definitely want to get a timeline of where our city could have done better in with the management of that project. I'm not saying that we were managing the project, but I mean we should have been aware. We were aware of it. We were fully from the highest levels in our city. We were fully aware of it, right? I drove by. I made phone calls before months ago, and so to see kind of where we're at now, I think we really could have done a lot better on behalf of our residents at that time, and from this point on forward. So, but just going forward, if we could just kind of keep communication, if we need to go out there, knock on doors, maybe get like a listserv and keep them always in contact. Anytime something's happening, have DR Horton contact us so we can contact the residents and let them know, hey, this is what's happening, this is why it's happening, this is why they have to do it. So, and but that's all the communication for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. National Night Out was good, and the weather was very nice, I think. Oh, I left, I'm sorry. Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, no worries. Thank you, Mayor. Last Saturday, I had an opportunity to join the Paris Valley Run Club. They've been in existence since the beginning of the year. They meet 7:30 a.m. at Morgan Park. They offer a 3-mile run and a 6-mile run. I did a hybrid. I did a 4-mile run down the Paris Valley Trail. The 6-mile run goes all the way down to New Able, turns around and goes a little bit past Morgan Park. And the 3-mile run goes from the entrance at Morgan Park down to Orange and back. So it was a good experience. Everyone's very helpful and very nice during the run. I'd like to thank Public Works for providing another great compost giveaway. I didn't have an opportunity to make it out there this time, but several of my neighbors were able to get out to Paragon Park for the compost giveaway. Driven by Paragon Park multiple times. I'd like to commend the park committee for how it's just shaping up. It looks like a roller coaster or something. And they need to have like an adult section where adults can just go on there for a little bit before they open it up to the kids. But overall, it's looking very, very good. One item I'd like to bring for a discussion, either our November 18th, I think it's a November 18th meeting, but it may have to wait to the December 9th meeting because November 18th is technically a special meeting because our meeting on November 11th falls on Veterans Day. So we've continued the meeting to the 18th, and we do not have a meeting the week of Thanksgiving. An issue that's been very important over the last few years that we've discussed 2 times from this dais is a warehouse moratorium. Both times we discussed that issue, I was in opposition to the warehouse moratorium. I think things have changed over the last few years, primarily with the tariffs, automation, and just the community making it extremely known that the inundation of warehouses, particularly on the south end of town, is getting out of control. And we have multiple projects, and I thank Councilman Corona for getting that list and sent out to us. Multiple projects that have come online where individuals are trying to get us to either rezone land or vacate streets for warehouses. And I think the general consensus among the community is that we need a pause for the warehouses until these issues are sorted out. And just seeing all the empty warehouses, seeing the county of Riverside, putting all the warehouses up and down the 215, and I think people are kind of drawing back from using online shopping. So I think it's time we have a discussion for a warehouse moratorium. I think we have the votes based on previous communications and stances my colleagues have taken. And I think going into 2026, given the tariffs, given automation, given our community coming out and showing their opposition to warehouses, I think it's time we bring back a warehouse moratorium. And I would just like my colleagues to maybe nod or in agreement, not so much your position, but whether or not you're interested in hearing a warehouse moratorium and if we can bring it back as soon as possible. And I think that soon as possible would be December the 9th. So, okay, I think staff has direction. Thank you.
Okay, so great weather for National Night Out. That's why the police has chosen to move it to October. And kudos to Josh Estrada. He cooks our burgers and hot dogs, and yes. So along myself with ACM Bugtai and Director Ogawa and Councilwoman Vallejo, we attended the Canyon Lake State of the City address. We always go around supporting all our neighboring cities. Paris Valley Channel Lateral B, Stage 4. This is a project through the March Joint Powers Authority that myself and Councilwoman Navas sit on. This is the final piece to underground water drainage that protects our base. It's on the southern end of the base and eventually works its way underground to the Paris Valley Storm Drain, so it affects our city as well. Multi-million-dollar project, finally funded and approved by the United States Air Force, so that's going to be, they're ready to groundbreaking, and they should be working on that soon. Very fortunate to attend the Railway Hispanic Heritage Month, their final performance of the month. And we attended the 10th anniversary Well One Health ceremony. It's a clinic here in Paris. I've been around for 10 years now. And The last one is TIP, the 18th Annual Heroes with a Heart Gala. TIP is our trauma intervention program. Attended that with Director Ogawa, I believe, and ACM Ernie Reyna. And that, particularly one of our own deputies here at our own Paris Sheriff's Station was a recipient of the award. So it's always nice to go there and support our deputies. With that, we'll move on to item 14, our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a couple of events in the next month and through November. First, this Friday, October 17th, we have the city's annual Harvest Festival on City Hall campus at 5 p.m. Next, on Saturday, of this week, the Geared Up Bike event will take place at Lake Paris through the Bernasconi entrance, and it begins at 8 a.m. Public Works Department will be hosting another compost giveaway on Saturday, October 25th at Paragon Park. And then lastly, there will be a second fall cleanup event on Saturday, November 15th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the historic movie theater parking lot on D Street. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Supposedly the door's locked. Someone's trying to get in. All right, item 15 is our adjournment. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Have a good, safe evening. We are adjourned at 9:11.